Well, hello there. It's Drew, and I am back from my trip to Hawaii. I was out visiting just the landscape. I really wanted to enjoy Hawaii with my family, so I went to Oahu and got to enjoy some nice beaches down there and some great food. And it was really just a fantastic opportunity to leave Nagasaki and Japan for a little bit. But of course, there are many Japanese people in Hawaii, so I did actually speak quite a bit of Japanese while I was down there. Even helped a Japanese couple, maybe some grandparents that were at a clothing store trying to find some clothes for their grandchildren. So that was a fun experience and another great way to use my language even when I'm outside of the country. It's interesting, actually, I find myself practicing my Japanese more when I'm not in Japan. I don't know why that is. I think it's more I feel like a more stronger connection to the country when I'm outside of it, when I'm outside of Japan. So I'll often find myself speaking and practicing Japanese more in those situations. So this is kind of another reason why it's not I guess a hindrance or a real problem if you don't live in an English-speaking country, because you can find your way to connect to English even if you don't live in an English-speaking country. Anyway, one of the things that I thought a lot about over the vacation was the YouTube channel, and how, as just like a part of what we do, we can really do a much better job for learners and helping people get excited about learning. And so one of the things I want to do is kind of do, I guess, something different. I guess maybe I'll go back. This might be a long video. We'll see. But the long and short of it is, and this is another great phrase for you, the long and short of it. This just means if you have maybe something long you want to say or a long explanation, you use this before you're going to give a shorter explanation, just to maybe communicate it in a faster and more simple way. So the long and short of it is, I was thinking a lot about you and how I can help you get fluent. And really, I wanted to kind of open up the channel. You see, I've got maybe a slightly different orientation here in the studio. Excuse me. I don't have a lot of options in here for, nice backgrounds and things, but I want to, I don't know, I guess like thinking a lot about the channel and how I can help you improve, help others like you improve. One of the most important things that helped me was just the ability to stick to the learning process. And I know a lot of people come through this channel, and it's not just about my channel or even other language learning channels online. People maybe this is you, like you get some kind of idea, something happens to you where maybe you should learn English, or maybe, for your career, you're thinking about learning it, or it could be whatever reason. And maybe you're clicking on videos and then you come to this one. And you watch a little bit of it and you're okay, I'm like excited to learn, but then maybe you watch 2 or 3 of my videos or something else, and then maybe you don't come back. And it's maybe not because the videos are bad, but because, the learning process is a long thing, and not a lot of people do make it through to the end. They don't stick through to the end. So a lot of what I do on the channel is really 2 things. The first one is giving you tips about how to learn, how to think about things in a different way. And I spend a lot of time talking about psychology. So how the way you think affects the way you learn and your confidence and all of these things. And it becomes a very important part of the learning process. The other thing I do is give specific tips about maybe you should learn this phrase or that phrase, or I'll work on a particular grammar point, something like that. But all of these things are kind of individual videos that anybody could come to the channel at any time and watch. And you probably noticed that unless we're maybe talking about our beginning English series for learners, maybe like beginning learners, whether they're adults or kids. So this series has a particular order of things, but almost everything else on the channel can be viewed independently. So you could watch 1 or 2 videos and it doesn't really matter what order you watch them in. And I thought a lot about this, and it's kind of the opposite of really what you should be doing for learning. And I'm not doing a very good job of making the learning environment here on YouTube really suitable for people to do that stick to itness. Being able to continue doing something, because you got to spend more time than what you really think is required, especially for fluency. Almost everything that takes time to do well and to get really good at, it's going to take more time than most people think. And so if you have a very quick passing idea about, I'd like to learn English today, and then you watch 2 or 3 videos and then you stop and find something else to get interested in, I probably won't be able to help you. But what I can do is try to make the channel a bit more of a place where people that struggle can, enjoy watching my journey, as well as I'm also starting to, I guess look at different ways for improvement beyond fluency. So I'm obviously also learning Japanese and improving my fluency in that language as well. But I really wanted to give people the opportunity to kind of follow me on a journey and go with me on a journey in the way that I am an English fluency guide. And so I wanted to talk about part of that today. And I thought that if I created something or kind of evolved the channel where we're more taking a journey with me, and I'm giving you more of like the insight into my personality and what I do in my everyday real life, and like I'm trying to talk my wife into getting on the show with me. Hopefully she says yes, and maybe if you put down in the comment below like yes, like Drew, your wife should definitely get on the program. Her name is Terumi, Terumi. And she's a little bit shy, but if you put a comment down below that says, yes, we want you to get on the program and talk with Drew and, get more involved in the channel, then she just might decide to do it. I can't make any promises, but anyway, make a comment down below and like this video, and maybe she will get excited to do that. But anyway, so I thought it would be, I kind of brought this up maybe a couple of videos ago about making a certain challenge and giving myself something to look forward to and to work towards in the same way that you're working towards fluency. And I didn't want to do something where I'm trying to lose weight or do other things. I am trying to dunk, so I've like been working on stretching my legs and improving my leg strength so I can do that. But, I really wanted to do something a bit more practical. And I know that a lot of people are interested in self-development and self-improvement in general. So most people, maybe you too, you're learning a language not just for life, but also because it's an interesting goal to have. It's an interesting skill to develop. And it's one of those really cool skills that when you go into an environment and you can speak a different language, it's really giving you the key almost to another world. And I can walk around in Japan in the same way that I walk around in America. And I don't feel nervous about getting into a taxi or asking people for directions or even offering help, like I was helping that couple back in America, in Hawaii. And when I experienced those things, especially after I struggled for so long to learn, that really became a motivating thing for me to help other people experience that as well. Now, what you probably don't know about me is that I actually struggle with communication in general. And this is a weird thing because I'm an educator and I spend a lot of time talking in an environment like this. And I think I was attracted to YouTube in the first place and just being able to connect with people in this way because I tend to move around a lot. So I've lived in lots of different places, and maybe, whether I'm in America or Japan or someplace else, I'll be there for maybe 2 or 3 years and then I'll move to another location, maybe another city in the same country or something like that. But I notice I've gotten very good at having lots of good friendships with people at kind of a shallow level. So especially I'll be with people for a little while, and then I get to know them fairly well. But, these relationships with people take time, and then I find I'm moving to a different location. And my problem is that I don't really do so well communicating with people like over the internet. I know this seems again like a weird thing. Here I am saying I don't communicate very well. And the other thing is I don't really communicate very well over the internet. And this is exactly what I do. Like right now I'm speaking with you in a way over the internet. So I can't be physically with everybody, although I wish I could. But this is something that kind of as a challenge for myself, it's something that I'd really like to improve. And so one of my things is like I rarely post anything on Facebook personally. And even for like the EnglishAnyone.com Facebook page, when I'm posting things there, I'm not like as excited to do it as I am to speak with people in person. And I don't know exactly how to bring that more personal connection to things like Facebook. Maybe it's not a skill that I'm really good at. And when I'm not living in a physical location with someone, then I rarely have contact with them. So you can imagine I've made friends in lots of different places around the world, and I have lots of learners like yourself that are also learning with me, but I have very little personal contact with them. I live in a small town in Japan, and I like really wish I did a better job of that. And so there are other things like this that I'd like to work on for myself. And I thought it would be a really great opportunity because we're learning a language here. You're learning English. I'm trying to improve my Japanese. And really what we're going for is communication. And it's something that requires the adoption of habits. So changing the way you think, changing the way you behave. So for me, myself, making more of an effort to communicate with people back home in Chicago or Seattle or other places where I've made friends. And again, because I'm not in that physical location anymore, I kind of lose that connection with people. I really miss being in college for that reason. Actually, it was a lot of fun being there, and I've got lots of people to interact with, and I'm very social. But when I'm not physically with people, I find the internet to be almost cold in that way. I just don't really find myself making as much of an effort, and I don't really know why that is. But this is anyway kind of one part of my communication problem, and I don't want to talk about too many things in this video. This is more just kind of an introduction to that. But I thought it would be a great idea to have kind of a challenge like this and maybe change the YouTube channel and, change where we're going with it, in an effort to, I don't really care so much about getting more views, but it's really important for me to have people at that moment where you're trying to learn the language and you arrive at this video, you're watching it, especially if this is the first video of mine you've ever seen, that you think, okay, I'm prepared. I'm going to stay with this guy. I want to see where he's going to go, where he's going to take me. And as you're learning with me, as you're moving with this, kind of journey, this adventure with me, then you're picking up the language naturally the same way a native speaker would. So I don't want to do the thing where I have the whiteboard behind me and I'm just writing out a list of phrases that most people are going to forget anyway. I challenge you to go back and look at some of the videos, maybe that other people are producing that give you lists of things to remember written up on a whiteboard, and look at it even, an hour or 2 hours later and see how much you remember. Really what you remember are stories. And so these are the kinds of things I'd like to do more of. And these are the kinds of situations that I think would make a really great series here and kind of changing and evolving the YouTube channel in that way. So I may, go back and see about, doing some other things where I'm teaching specific phrases, but really what I'm trying to do is create something, have a journey that you can follow along with me. And if you're also interested in personal development about how we can really communicate better with people, become better people, I know it sounds a little bit weird, but that's important to me. And I really want to be able to connect better with people and have stronger, deeper relationships with people. So I thought in addition to the language is really just a means of communication. But how we communicate, all of these things, it's a much deeper topic, a more interesting one. And this is something that if we can develop these skills together, these are the things that help us more in our interpersonal relationships. So if it's just friends or other people in your family or your neighborhood, or if it's a professional thing where you're trying to speak more with the people at your work or at your school or other, professional situation. So all of these things, following me on a journey and me getting to actually have a conversation with you. So I'm looking at the comments and seeing what people are interested in learning about, and the channel evolves that way. But I think this is really what we need to do. And I need to kind of show more of myself and get kind of beyond the professional looking of okay, and maybe it's not so professional looking, but what I mean is the professional way of okay, we're just going to stop at the language. We're going to talk about how to learn the language, and here are tricks to help you learn it faster. And these are things that get clicks. People are interested in how you can learn a whole bunch of words, but the real thing that gets you fluent is the journey itself, and continuing to stick with the channel, whether it's my channel or somebody else. I really want you to actually get fluent and know what it's like to be able to communicate in English the way you do in your native language. So anyway, I will leave it here. If you have any questions, think this is a good idea or even a terrible idea, do let me know down in the comments. And I look forward to hearing from you and to seeing where the channel goes and to see what this kind of challenge looks like, because it's just a new idea and I don't know exactly how it will work, but I think it'll be very interesting. Anyway, do let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to like this video if you'd like to see more of these, and, become a subscriber if you're not already, and we can follow, this journey together. Anyway, have a fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.